Hello everybody and welcome to my book premiere. I'm very happy that you all decided to tune in and have a look. It's been a wonderful ride for me, and thank you to Flanker Press for that. People have asked me, why did you write a book? Well, I guess the simple answer is because I wanted to. I've been doing recitations for years and had a nice little collection built up, and decided I'd like to share it with everyone, and so I really hope that you enjoy it. So I guess without further ado, the product is here. There you go. Harry Ingram, Don't Be Talkin. So I guess the next thing to do, I suppose, would probably be to maybe do a recitation from it. So I guess I'll do hot sauce. Now, hot sauce is pretty much based on a true story. Well, few inflections, of course. I went out with a buddy of mine to try some hot wings, and I thought I could handle the hottest of hot, but apparently I couldn't. So basically that's what this story is about. So anyway, without further ado, hot sauce. Allow me to relate a story that's spicy. I don't mean romantic or anything dicey, so don't mind the youngsters, don't cover their ears. This is a story of hot sauce that brought me to tears. You see, whenever asked, do you like hot stuff? I assumed he meant food, said yes, can't get enough. Yes, that is a fact, what I'm saying is true. So by the time I was 10, I used Tabasco and stew. And then came the peppers, what wonderful taste, when your mouth starts to burn and red turns your face. So I continued on for a few years or more, with hot wings and chili and hot sauce galore. Then a friend of mine said to get these new things, spiciest ever, called insanity wings. Well, a little intrigued, they said it can't be that bad, so I found a location. Yes, they had to be had. I walked in and sat down at the table I chose, when a waiver was shoved right under my nose. Oh, no thank you, sir, I don't want to sign. That's probably for tourists, so you can keep mine. Oh, no, said the waiter. You have to sign first, so reluctantly I did, but I'm sure I've had worse. And then he proceeded to tell us the tale of 10 people or more, both female and male, who tried these wings. They still come here all right, but 2 guys and 3 girls have all lost their sight. And one young fella ate 3 while half soused. He lost the skin from the roof of his mouth. And another young fella, I don't remember his name, he hiccuped after lunch and set the table ablaze. Now I didn't flinch. I said, this must be lies, so bring on the food, I'm getting hungry, I cried. Well, not long after that, to my table appeared a man in a suit like the NASA crowd wears. Well, he set on the table an assortment of things, plus a gallon of milk and the insanity wings. He said, you might want to eat that other stuff first and drink half the milk. Yes, prepare for the worst. Well, I started in. There's no time like the present, as the waiter and staff backed into the kitchen. And I could see them all peering from the window inside. As I swallowed the first bite, my eyes opened wide. I couldn't feel a single thing on my tongue, and not only that, my lips went all numb. I said, I won't let these wings get the best of me, so I took a deep breath, and I gobbled down 3. And my vision went funny, and I started to shake. I couldn't feel my fingers or half of my face. So I went to the washroom for further inspection. Well, my lips looked like they had Botox injections. And the strength of the sauce was making me cry. Was it a huge mistake? Yes, I wiped my eyes. Oh, how they burned as they almost swelled shut. And I was sure that the lining was burned from my guts. So as I stood there in pain and also half blind, I took a cramp in the stomach and then by behind. Now what happened next, I'll spare you detail. I'll leave that much out and get back to the tale. So back to the table to pay for the meal. Yes, $48. What a hell of a deal. So let's take a look at what I got for the cash. Swelled eyes, swelled lips, and a permanent rash. And my cast iron stomach is now all burnt to cinders, and I can hardly sit down, because my backside has blisters. Well, it's been quite a while now since all this transpired, and when it comes to hot food, well, I guess I've retired. No spices for me now, I can't handle the taste. Sure, all my sauces are now Alfredo based. And I can't look at peppers, neither green nor red. And with the thought of chili comes the pain in the head. So now if anyone asks me, do you like hot stuff? I say, no thank you kindly. I think I've had enough. So there you go. That was a fine little tale, I suppose, from called hot sauce. So that's a nice one. I'd like to get a little more serious now. I started writing recitations, I suppose, about 10 years or so ago. The very first one that I wrote was one called Hands of Time. I wrote that just after Dad passed away. I went back to work after the funeral and everything, and I sat down at the desk, and something came in my mind, and I thought, I have to write this. I have to get this out there. So I did, and when I finished, I looked at it and said, "Wow, this is okay. I wonder is there more in there." So anyway, it's certainly very, very special to me. Not only is it the first piece that I've ever written, but it's a tribute to my dad, who is the greatest man I've ever known. So I'd like to do that piece for you now. It's called Hands of Time. I watched him on that day as he left this world. I sat there, holding his hand, and watched him take his final breath. His hands were rough and calloused from a lifetime of hard work. From the moment we take our first breath, so begin the hands of time. There's something unseen, not often thought of, maybe even magical in the touch of a hand. From the first moment of life's journey, our hand is often placed in a parent's hand, for comparison of size. But it's so much more than comparison. It's as if the strings of the heart extend all the way to the fingertips. As more time passes, we meet so many along the way. Handshakes hold so many different meanings. It's a sign of respect when meeting an old friend or business associate. It is congratulatory for the birth of a child, a wedding, or any other of life's accomplishments. It is a gesture of condolence as we comfort others in the loss of a loved one. I was nervous when I held her hand that day while on bended knee. Then before we knew it, there we were, joined at the altar, hands joined as one. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. A feeling I'll never forget. We grow and learn as time travels forward. Hold Dad's hand now, I say before crossing the street. I held my 3-year-old daughter's hand as we jumped simultaneously from a 4-inch high curb. The simplest thing gave both of us so much pleasure as we carefully made our way. Tick-tock, the hands of time move along, carrying us with it. So many emotions follow with us as life's story unfolds, and there's so much of this life story left untold. It is with anticipation we watch our sons and daughters continue to grow, making decisions that will affect their future, and even placing their hands in the hand of their chosen life partner as they prepare for their vows. Life travels on, and eventually it will come full circle. As my circle continues, I reflect on that day, that it his circle of life completed, and his hands of time stood still. As I watched him on that day as he left this world, I sat there holding his hand and watched him take his final breath. His hands were rough and calloused from a lifetime of hard work. Rest easy. You're home now, Dad. Thank you. So that's a little tribute to Freeman Ingram, the greatest man I've ever known. So that's it, I guess. I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank Flanker Press, and I'd like to thank my wife, of course, and kids, and all my family who helped out this journey. It's been amazing. It's been wonderful. Everyone who bought a book, everyone who's about to buy a book, just thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks. Good night.